In today's episode, let's prepare this tasty beef curry, and I'm going to be using just a few ingredients as usual. First things first, we'll start off by chopping our beef, and this was about 450 grams of beef, but it was a very tough cut, so we had to use a pressure cooker in today's episode. I'll start by chopping my beef in my desired size, and I'm going for a medium size, not too small and not too big chunks. Once I'm done with my beef, I'll proceed to prepare my vegetables, and I'll start off by blending my garlic and my tomatoes. So I'm going to roughly chop the garlic, add it into the jug, then proceed to roughly chop the tomatoes and add them into the jug as well. Then I'm going to blend that for about a minute. I'm also going to chop my onions as well as grate my ginger. I'll add in some water, then I'm going to blend that to form my blended mix. As earlier mentioned, I'm going to be using a pressure cooker, and I'm going to ensure that it is extremely hot. We'll do a temperature test by adding a few drops of water, and once it forms balls, you know that's the right temperature. I added in my cooking oil, and the original plan was to sear the beef, but I immediately changed the plan. As I mentioned, I plan to sear the beef, but I changed the plan. This is because to sear the beef, you need a pot with a very large surface area so that you can sear little portions at a time so that they do not remove water. But looking at the surface area of my pressure cooker and looking at the beef, I saw that that was going to take a lot of time. So I added in all my beef, and as you'll notice, it removed some water. So I had to wait for the water to completely dry out before I could proceed with the next step. That's ginger and pilipili, and I'm going to add them to my beef. Then I'm going to let this fry for a couple of minutes till my beef attains a really beautiful brown color that I want. Then I'll be back to add in my next set of ingredients. As you can see, the beef has attained the beautiful color that I wanted, and I'm going to add in my onions as well as my paprika. Lately, I've been loving the taste of the new paprika that I bought. It tastes amazing, and it's the Spanish paprika, and I'm going to toast that for a couple of seconds till you can smell it in the air or it's fragrant. Then I'll be back to deglaze the bottom. Deglazing simply means adding some liquid so that you can loosen the particles that have been stuck at the bottom of the pan. I'm going to be using the blended mix that we made earlier. Then I'm going to let that cook for about 3 to 5 minutes till the tomatoes are well done. So this is going to help in eliminating the raw taste of tomatoes. And at this point, I ought to have added in my salt, but I forgot. You can add yours at this point. I'm going to be adding mine later. Once the tomatoes have cooked down and the liquid has reduced significantly, I'm going to add in my water. So remember that I mentioned that that was a tough cut of meat. You couldn't see through the video, but as I was cutting, I was really using some strength. I also had to sharpen my knife a couple of times, so I'm going to add in a lot of water. Then I'm going to tighten the pressure cooker lid and let that cook for about 35 minutes. By then, the beef was soft to my liking. If we weren't using a pressure cooker, that would have taken over an hour to become soft. Once the 35 minutes are over, I'm going to switch that off, and in the meantime, I was preparing my ugali. As I let the pressure accumulated release naturally. Once I'm done with the ugali, the pressure in the pressure cooker will already have been released. At this point, we are almost done. As you can remember, I had forgotten to add in some salt, and we are going to add it at this particular point. Also, all the water had cooked down, so I had to hydrate this just to moisten it up because I wanted a curry. I can define a curry as something in between a wet fry and a stew. It's somewhere there in between. A very thick sauce, I will say. So I'll add in my salt, then I'll keep adding water to my desired consistency, and I'll let that simmer for about 2 minutes. Then this is progressing on pretty well and we are almost done. I'll go in with my last spice, and that's curry powder. This is just to enhance the flavor. At this point, you can also use beef masala, but as I mentioned very many years ago, I do not like the taste of beef masala. I don't find it tasty. So in place of beef masala, I normally use chicken masala, and for today's episode, I'll be substituting that with some curry powder. I'll let that also simmer for about a minute or so, and finally I'll come in with my garnish. In today's episode, I did not have any green vegetable, I did not have the capsicum, and I did not have any coriander with me. So I'm going to be garnishing this with some white onions. White onions are also flavorful. So I'll add that in, mix it, switch it off, and then serve. I'll be serving this with some ugali. This dish was very tasty. It was very delicious. I would highly recommend. The flavors from the new paprika that I bought, among the other ingredients, highly recommend. That's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like this video, leave your thoughts in the comment section, share this with a friend, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.